It's the Score North Twin Show. Baseball.
All right, sports dad. I know our guy Declan. We're on different. We're ships passing in the night here on the Score North Twin Show because Paternity Dex, our resident Twins beat podcaster, we're telling him like you should just like literally just go away and be a dad as long as you want. And he wants to cover the Twins
firing
and
up
Purple
from home.
Daily.
Yeah,
and we appreciate that.
Sonny's got takes, I heard too.
So, yeah, Dex and Sonny were firing up takes last night. We have takes on the Twins hiring Derek Shelton. And it's funny, as we hit record on this, literally, like, the press release just came out, making it official here. The 15th manager in Twins history. And I'll read you a quote from Derek Falvey, who is the Twins president of baseball and business operations, the almighty Derek Falvey. Derek brings a tremendous amount of experience, Derek Shelton, that is, a tremendous amount of experience from his many years coaching and managing at the major league level. He cares deeply about this community and our fans, and he's genuinely driven to take on the challenge of bringing winning baseball back to Minnesota. We've seen there's a lot to unpack already with this quote. We've seen firsthand the trust and respect he earns from players and how he helps them reach their best. His journey through both the successes and the tough stretches has given him real perspective as a leader. That balance and his connection to what this place means to people will serve our players and staff well as we work to build something lasting for our fans and for Minnesota. So we have not had a chance to talk on the Twin Show since the reports came out yesterday, and now that it's official. So what are your thoughts on Derek Shelton, Twins manager?
So I actually sat down at the keyboard last night, judzolga.substack.com, and wrote about this. And this is not a referendum on Derek Shelton, okay? I told you on Sirius MLB radio, I thought he was outstanding. Seems like a good guy. I don't know him. Seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
This is one of the most uninspired, expected hirings I've ever seen by a team that's either delusional, doesn't care, or a little bit of both. You are basically maintaining the status quo. If you are Derek Falvey, and by extension the Pullets, you're maintaining the status quo as much as possible off a team that it's in desperate need of change. And you're doing it with, like let's just talk about the perception, okay? Let's talk about the perception. Derek Shelton, good guy, bad guy, don't really care at this point. The perception is you are bringing back a guy who was Molitor's bench coach in 2018. By the way, you fired Paul. Right or wrong, you fired him. He was Rocco's bench coach on the Bombas squad in 2019, and then he got the Pittsburgh job. Now, what's funny is Pittsburgh and the Twins are similar. Pittsburgh's cheaper, but they're very similar. They have ownership groups that don't seem to really get it and or care. And Derek Shelton, not surprisingly, was set up to fail. And oh my God, guess what? He failed. So now you're bringing him back here, a big old shrug emoji, a big old yawn, and you're saying he's going to change things here. And then I also saw something along the lines of, well, we wanted a manager who would buy into our philosophy that we had in the last half of the season, that we would run more and be a more aggressive team, which is insinuating now that Rocco Baldelli didn't want that, although Rocco Baldelli talked about how refreshing it was to have that. Again, I'll just come back to this. Ownership and Derek Falvey are either delusional or they don't give a damn, or more likely a combination of both. Uninspiring as hell.
Can I say that I agree that it's the most predictable, least inspiring, least exciting hire that you possibly could have made in terms of like getting fans to be interested or even bringing in outside thoughts, opinions, energy, pushback, etc. I agree with all those things. I mean, you fired Rocco and you hired his old bench coach, for God's sakes. Like, it's kind of funny that like we need to make a major change to how we operate, and Rocco is the centerpiece fall guy here. Who should we go get? The guy that was Rocco's right-hand man in 2019. all of that said, in a vacuum, I don't hate the Derek Shelton hire. I have a hard time separating the hire from the people that are making the decisions, ownership into Derek Falvey in front office, because I think they've made so many missteps over the last couple of years, and even before that, planting some seeds for the tumble. We talked about this last week or whenever it was, when like Buster Posey comes in and hires a college coach to be the Giants manager. You're like, okay, I'm gonna give Buster Posey. He's one of the smartest dudes in baseball, and he's a former player. Not that recently. He's like played like 4 years ago. I'm gonna trust that. Your first instinct with the Twins right now is to just assume that they're making a bad decision, and so I get all that. But just in kind of poking around the last 24 hours, and even just looking back through some of my conversations and notes from like 2018-19. When Shelton was Paul Molitor's right-hand man in many ways in 18, and then Baldelli's right-hand man. I've heard a lot of great things about Shelton over the years. Really smart guy, well-respected, a sneaky, fun personality behind the scenes that can be kind of a connector of people in a way that maybe you wouldn't think just looking at him on the exterior. And I can tell you that I think this is out now on KSTP.com, but our guy Doogie actually had a conversation with Thad Levine, who's no longer with the Twins. But Thad was with the Twins when they brought Derek Shelton in as an assistant. And they considered after they fired Molitor, they considered Derek Shelton to be the manager going into 2019. They hired Baldelli and managed to keep Shelton as the bench coach before Pittsburgh came in after 2019. But Thad Levine, and the full interview is going to be on KSDP.com. Thad Levine raved about Shelton's communication skills. He likes the fact that Shelton is not a first-time manager, that you're getting someone in here who, okay, he's run a clubhouse before, even if it didn't go well in Pittsburgh wins and losses wise. And Thad also highlighted the balancing of analytics with the human element as something that Shelton is very good at and something that the Twins need with a very analytically driven front office. Also, our guy Declan spoke with, I'll just say, one of the key core Twins players yesterday, who said he is a big fan of Derek Shelton. So that's another thing, is like you're going to have to kind of piece together the chemistry in that clubhouse, and you're going to need the buy-in from some key players. So in a vacuum, and the things that I have heard and we have heard, I like the profile of Derek Shelton. I don't care about the Pittsburgh stuff. I don't want to hear, well, look at how bad Pittsburgh was. Dude, Pittsburgh is one of the worst run. If you think the Twins are poorly run, and they are.
But that's the thing, yeah.
Pittsburgh is an abject disaster and an embarrassment to professional sports.
Yep.
You know, we sit here and complain sometimes about like the Twins being cheap and not spending money. And they've had payrolls 130, 140, 150 million. Did you know the Pirates have never had a $100 million payroll before? They've literally, even when Derek Shelton was there, they were dead last in payroll like 3 of the 5 years.
Yep.
They spent like $55 million one of the years. If it wasn't for Paul Skeens, you know. Mm-hmm. So I have zero interest in judging Derek Shelton off of his Pirates wins and losses. That is an impossible job and there's nobody is going to take that job and like Herculean, you know, lift the talent level and the rotten vibes up into a playoff contender. So that's my general. I am down on the leadership of the organization the last couple of years, but I am trying to separate that from Derek Shelton, the baseball person and the leader.
And Derek Shelton will do the best he possibly can. But I guarantee you, at the end of the day, there is a commonality between what the Twins did and what the Pirates did with Shelton, and that is, I'm sure they're paying him nothing. And like the whole list of, they might get this guy, or they might get, you know, I'm sure they went with, we'll find out, they went with the guy that would work for as cheap as possible. Like, that's the thing, is this organization, I'm not down on Shelton. The guy deserves a chance. Seems like a good guy. Like, he's a baseball guy. He's a ball guy. And he probably is a better connector of people at the end of the day than Baldelli was. But I think what they were trying to find is, one, from the Pohlad standpoint, who can we hire cheap as possible? And two, from Falvey's standpoint, who can I have the most control of because I know him? I don't want someone to come in here who is a threat. Like Derek Falvey has cleaned out, baseball wise, anyone who's a threat. Anybody who might know more, who might be smarter, he gets rid of. I mean, Thad Levine's the poster child. So that's my problem. I am pushing back completely on what I consider to be a very a organization that's poorly run and it's getting worse by the day. So yeah, this is not a referendum on Shelton at all. I hope he succeeds. This is a referendum on, again, the Twins. The Twins had a chance here to make a hire where people said, oh, intriguing. You're doing something very intriguing. Oh, you might be up to something here. And instead they said, let's do what we consider to be the best for us. Damn the results. And the other thing that scares me about this too, mentioned in the Zolgad Substack, is this. Does this mean that the minority investors are going to be as quiet as possible? Because if I'm the minority investors and I'm coming in and I care and I'm helping you pay off a $500 million debt and I'm serious about the business, I'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's wait on this one. I want some say in this. And Derek Shelton ain't going to move the needle one bit. So like this just raises more questions. This is not a Derek. To me, it's not even a Shelton conversation. It is a Twins conversation about a team that I think is rudderless and that has done the easiest thing again as possible. And I am a little bit concerned since we still don't know. Are these investors going to play a role? Or are they literally going to get in and out and just help you pay off that debt?
Real quick here on the moving the needle part of the conversation. I think there's two different ways to measure that. There's moving the needle with a dwindling fan base to generate excitement, which if you were to rank the managerial hopefuls, Torrey Hunter would have been number one. Is there any doubt that, like, of all the names that were bandied about, if you're looking purely to excite a dormant fan base and spike some ticket sales or something,
I agree.
Torrey would have been number one. But the other way to move the needle, which is way harder to quantify, is hiring someone that can help you win more games. And there's like with players, you can kind of measure that now with wins above replacement, and there's with managers, it's really, really, really hard. Mm-hmm. Do I think Derek Shelton helps the Twins win more games than Torrey Hunter? Probably, because Torrey's never done it before, and also, I think Torrey. I wanted Torrey, and I would have hired Torrey, but there is a much wider risk profile for hiring a guy that's never done it before, who also has like a really strong personality, but I think the Twins need some of that too.
Yes.
So in their minds, I think, and again, they've made a lot of wrong decisions, that they did hire a guy who moves the needle to try and win more games. And as I say that, I think I'm allowed to say this. Doogie just texted, and I'll just say this. He said, because it's good, it's positive, Byron Buxton just gave Doogie a ringing endorsement on Derek Shelton. So you've got Buxton and another player that it's not, if Declan wants to kind of throw out who he's been talking to and getting feedback from, I'll leave that on him. But couple really, really important players in that clubhouse behind the scenes now to our crew here at Score North have given a ringing endorsement of Derek Shelton. And that matters because when you look at the biggest like field level issues to fix for this team going into 2026, I think getting buy-in from players and creating a togetherness in that clubhouse and creating an environment where players are excited to come to work and work together and get better and stop stalling out at age 26 or whatever age in the middle of their careers. That's going to be something that Derek Shelton and his field staff can have a direct impact on. What does it feel like in that work environment every single day?
Absolutely.
And are guys being given the tools and the right communication to maximize their potential? Because there's too many instances of good young Twins players stalling out and plateauing at an age where they should be ascending.
And my question is this then. Is Derek Falvey going to allow Derek Shelton to do what Shelton does and, in fact, minimize his baseball role more? Because if he's not, I don't think it's going to work. I think Derek Falvey has shown that he is not very good at the baseball side of being too involved, which I think he likes to be. And so my question is if you're going to say, Derek Shelton, you are going to run this operation, and I'll talk to you about it. Yeah, but you are the main chef. Then I'm like, okay. But it really, and this is new now, it really, I don't know, scares is too strong. It's very impactful that Derek Falvey is now insinuating that Rocco Baldelli was like the problem in approach to style. Like he's now saying, we look forward to doing what we did in the second half of last year, as if Baldelli was the one that was pushing back against it earlier, which, by the way, I don't believe for a second.
Well, also, even just the nature of the firing of Baldelli.
Sure.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the only major move that they made among, like, I mean, maybe they'll shake up pitching coaches. It's up to, at this point, Shelton and Falvey to decide which of the assistant coaches they want back. But
sure.
But they went in the tank 2 years in a row. They've been one of the worst teams in baseball since like August of 2024. Colossal disaster. Fans not showing up to the stadium. Lowest attended season in 25 years of Twins baseball. Red alert, panic. What is the problem? What is the problem? And the singular person held accountable was Rocco Baldelli. So you're either using him aggressively as, not that he wasn't like infallible, but you're either aggressively using him as a scapegoat, saying, yeah, he actually in retrospect was a huge part of this problem, or I should say the other way around. Either he was a huge part of the problem and you just gutted out this cancerous baseball figure, or you're using him as a scapegoat to cover up for the actual things that are wrong with your process, your decision making,
Right.
your leadership, etc.
And are you now telling me that you were overruled by Baldelli, who spent the last 5 years saying, we're going to hit home runs, we ain't going to run, we ain't going to do those baseball-y things, and you're like, but I want to, I'm Derek Falvey, can't we do those? And now you're like, now we get to do what I want to do? Or was it your decision the whole time, and you're rope-a-doping us all by now blaming a guy that by the way, and this is so this is a small but big point. Picking up Baldelli's option silences him completely. So he's getting paid for 2026. And I guarantee you that contract says, you say boo about us, we can pursue some of your compensation, right?
Well, he was quoted, I think, well, yeah, you say boo about it. If you rip us, probably.
Right, but you can say Derek Shelton's going to be great, which he did. But what I'm saying is he's compromised now. So Derek Falvey can tell you, you know what? I wanted to do all these things, and Rocco wouldn't let me. And I fired him finally. Go to Rocco, he's going to say, yeah, I can't really comment. Yeah. So I'm just saying I feel like this is again setting up, nothing to do with Shelton. I feel like this is again setting up as the Twins trying to tell us a story that isn't really the story.
Yeah, I think like we'll all leave it here and plenty more on this in the coming weeks. And now we can, all right, we know who the manager is going to be, and now you can kind of move into go upstairs above the manager, because now there's personnel decisions to be made. There's payroll decisions.
Is
business
Pablo
decisions.
Traded? Yes, yep. Exactly.
So those are all off-season discussions here. But I think the four biggest field-level issues to be fixed are, like I said, two of them already: clubhouse chemistry and vibes, young hitters specifically stalling out and plateauing, one of the least impactful base running teams in Major League Baseball, which Falvey has acknowledged too. And at this point, a lack of pitching talent, especially in the bullpen, that's ready to make an impact at the Major League level. How many of those things can Derek Shelton and his staff specifically fix or make better? He can definitely make an impact in a lot of those areas. In terms of pitching talent, you let a lot of good arms walk out the door. One of them is maybe going to help close out a World Series here tomorrow night. We'll see.
Good for Louis.
But it's a lot on his plate. It's a lot on his plate, and it's a lot in the way that Falvey kind of phrased the press release too, where he, help us get back to, how did he phrase this? He's genuinely driven to take on the challenge of bringing winning baseball back to Minnesota. It's like we're putting a lot on the manager of a broken baseball organization to fix things. And I just don't know. Like, he can have some impact, but it's so connected to the things above him, as you saw in Pittsburgh. Oh, he lost 100 games. Well, okay, they're not trying. They're actively tanking for 30 years.
But if he's being also told what to do, see, here's my problem. Derek Shelton's going to have, he's having a lot placed on his plate. Is he even being allowed to cut his own food?
No.
Or is Derek Falvey saying, hold on, Derek Shelton, I got that for you. I got that for you. Here's a small piece of steak.
Give me that knife. Hold on. Let me pull it out of Rocco's back, and then I'll give it to you. So, all right. Just wanted to pop in here for 20 minutes, give our takes.
That was inspiring. Sorry, I can't help it.
I mean, you heard my commentary. Like
I hope he does well.
I'm trying to separate. I think highly of Derek Shelton.
Yeah.
But I totally get all the cynicism that has kind of led to this. So let us know in the comment section. Click that subscribe button, the like button on the Score North Twin Show YouTube channel here as well. And then Apple, Spotify, you can help us by giving us a 5-star rating and a positive review. For Paternity Dex, our resident Beat Twins podcaster, for the Sports Dad, I'm Phil. And we'll see you next time on the Score North Twin Show.